Scotchman Industries would like to take this opportunity to thank you for purchasing one of the finest ironworkers on the market today. The purpose of this video is to help you become acquainted with the general setup and operation of this equipment. In all moving machinery, there is the possibility for operator injury. Our goal is to keep this potential to an absolute minimum. It is Scotchman Industries' sincerest wish that management will make this video mandatory viewing. In these times of constant changes in the workforce, you can't be too careful. At Scotchman Industries, we are not only concerned with sales, we are concerned with operator safety and satisfaction. Please consider this video as additional instruction and not a replacement for the operator's manual. Please read the operator's manual. This video covers the basic operation and safety procedures for our Scotchman 6509-24M, 9012-24M, and 12012-24M ironworkers. Please note, we are using the 6509-24M model for this video. All of the installation and operating instructions in this video pertain to all three models. Anything that is different from one model to the other will be pointed out during the video. This machine has been videoed with the optional jog control, punch jigging table, and oversized shear miter table. Before going any further, Scotchman Industries wants to put a special emphasis on the following points prior to operating the machine. Any individual operating this piece of equipment must be qualified, responsible, and well instructed. The operator must be aware of the capacities of the machine and of the proper use of the hold-downs, strippers, and guards provided with the machine. All guards and awareness barriers must be kept in their proper place. Safety glasses are required at all times, whether operating, setting up, or observing these machines in operation. The operation of this machine should be limited to one person at a time. Do not place any body parts under or in any of the machine's moving parts. Read all of the safety and warning labels prior to operating the machine. Never operate the machine with dull or damaged tooling. Replace worn and damaged tooling promptly. Never leave these machines running unattended. Do not modify these machines without written permission of the manufacturer. The area around the machine must be kept clear and well lit. All electrical work should be done by a qualified electrician. Scotchman Industries has provided the latest state-of-the-art in control panels for their ironworkers. In order to operate this piece of equipment, you should familiarize yourself with the control panel. This area of the panel is the on-off and lockout-tagout switch. When the switch is in the off position, you can put your tagout device in the specially designed switch. To start the machine, place the disconnect switch in the on position and the selector switch in the start position. Pull out the stop switch and depress the green start button. The machine will not function until you designate the position you want to activate with this switch. When you select the punch position, the shear will close and the punch will open. When you select the shear position, the shear will open and the punch will close. For setting up tools on the tool table, put this optional switch in the jog position. This allows you to inch the power beam very slowly and is especially effective when it is used in conjunction with the stroke controls to remove unnecessary travel from the stroke. For normal foot control operation, return the switch to the run position. This mushroom stop switch is designed as an emergency stop switch. The first and most important procedure we will demonstrate is the Scotchman preferred method of changing and aligning punches and dies. Failure to properly align punches and dies can cause serious bodily injury and/or damage the equipment. Please observe the procedure very closely and use the Scotchman preferred method. Always wear safety glasses when operating or observing these machines. With the machine's punch and shear selector switch in the punch position and the ram retracted, turn the power off at the disconnect switch. Release the stripper and swing it to the side out of the way of the punch ram and retaining nut. Remove the punch retaining nut and set the punch retaining nut and punch aside. Loosen the die holder bolts. Loosen the 2 set screws holding the die insert in the die holder. Remove the die insert and loosen the set screw that holds the die and remove it. Place the disconnect switch in the on position and the selector switch in the start position. Power the machine by pressing the green start button. Place the selector switch in the shear position and allow the ram to fully extend. Turn the machine's power off. Clear the die insert cavity of any foreign material. Select the proper punch and die. Make sure there is proper clearance between the punch and die. For example, a 1-inch punch must be mated with a 1 1/32 inch die. You will notice that the hole in the bottom of the die is larger than the hole in the top. This is for slug relief. Make sure you install the die with the larger side down in the die insert. Clean both the punch and die of any foreign material. Insert the proper die in the die insert. If the die has a flat spot on it, align the flat spot on the die with the set screw in the die insert. Tighten the set screw firmly with a hex key wrench. Please note, all of our shaped punches, including squares, ovals, hexagon, and special order punches, are manufactured with a keyed alignment system. This keyed slot mates with the slots in the punch ram to allow for 2 different positive locked positions of the punch. We strongly urge you to take advantage of this feature. Insert the punch into the punch retaining nut, making sure it seats properly. Place the punch retaining nut assembly on the die insert with the punch inserted in the die. Place the insert back into the die holder and tighten the set screws. Raise the punch retaining nut and turn it onto the punch ram. The die holder may have to be moved slightly to align the punch retaining nut to the punch ram. If you are using keyed punches, manually rotate the punch until the key seats in the ram before tightening the punch retaining nut. Use a wrench to tighten the punch retaining nut. Make sure there is equal clearance on all sides of the punch in the die. Retighten the bolts in the die holder. Check to be sure of proper alignment. Realign if necessary. Return the stripper to the forward position. Place the disconnect switch in the on position and the selector switch in the start position. Power the machine by pushing the green start button. Place the selector switch in the shear position. Jog the machine several times with the foot switch without letting the punch come out of the die to be sure the alignment is correct. Oil the punch and die before use and every 5 to 10 holes thereafter. Place the selector switch in the punch position. On the initial setup, punch 3 to 5 holes, then retighten the punch retaining nut and the die holder bolts. After the initial setup, the punch and die alignment should be checked intermittently during the punching operations. To do this, bring the punch down so it enters the die. Turn off the machine. Check and tighten the punch retaining nut, the set screw holding the die, the 2 set screws holding the die insert, and the 2 bolts securing the die holder. Check for equal clearance around the punch in the die. Place the selector switch in the start position and power the machine. Place the selector switch in the shear position and jog the machine several times with the foot pedal to be sure of proper alignment. Place the selector switch in the punch position and continue on with your work. Before we conclude our segment on punching, there are a few more precautions. Never punch material thicker than the diameter of the punch. As an example, a 1/4 inch punch will not have enough strength to punch 3/4 inch thick steel. Any effort to attempt this can cause punch breakage and possible harm to the operator. Never punch partial holes. The side thrust encountered in punching a partial hole can force the punch over against the die and result in punch and die breakage, which may result in serious bodily injury. Once you have the punch and die properly installed, you have to make sure you have the stripper properly adjusted. Both sides of the stripper must contact the material being punched. If the material does not contact both sides of the stripper, the material will tilt up when the punch is retracted, causing damage to the punch and possible injury to the operator. These machines have the same tonnage for stripping as they have for punching. For ease, speed, and safety in the stripping function, a 1/8 inch space between the stripper and the material to be punched will prove satisfactory. If your application requires punching closer to the corner of the material, these machines are supplied with a spacer plate that will allow the material to be stripped without harming the punch. If your application calls for punching into the leg of channel or a similar application, this offset die holder will make the job possible. There are 3 things to remember when using this option. Because of its design, you cannot use the same method described earlier in this video for aligning punches and dies. Please refer to the operator's manual or the instruction sheet that came with the die holder for proper instructions. The offset die holder has a maximum capacity of 30 tons on the 6509-24M and the 9012-24M and 40 tons on the 12012-24M. Exceeding the rated tonnage will damage the tool and may cause injury to the operator. The offset die holder must be removed when not in use. The use of stroke controls can greatly increase efficiency and tool life. The upstroke adjustment will prevent excess travel before the next cycle. For many of the optional tools available for these machines, setting the downstroke of the machine is necessary to prevent damage to the tool. For additional safety and tool life, use the stroke controls. The angle shear must be placed on the tool table centered over the slug chute and as close to the machine's frame as possible. Anchor the tool using the clamps provided with the machine. This position is closest to the pivot point, giving you proper slug ejection and maximum tonnage for the job. All tools set up on the tool table are operated with a machine in the shear position. The proper slider block must be used as it compensates for the scissors action on the power beam. It is very important that the tool is placed so that the slider block fits squarely under the power beam at all times. Under no circumstances should any part of your body be placed between the power beam and the tool or close to the shear blades on any of this tooling. For shearing uneven leg angles, please consult your dealer or the factory for the proper blades to fit the application. Do not shear uneven leg angles with the standard blades. It will damage the tool immediately. Lubrication is very important. We recommend lubricating blades every 5 to 10 cuts. When using the flat bar shear on your Scotchman Ironworker, always use the hold-down device. Never put any part of your body between the hold-down and the material to be sheared. Do not attempt to insert any material into the flat bar shear in any manner other than under the hold-down device. The maximum tonnage available is to the left or closest to the pivot point. For a lighter material, move to the right for better quality on the cutoff piece. Do not attempt to shear pieces that are less than 3.5 inches. They are too short for the hold-down to grip, and this will cause the material to kick up, and the result will be a poor quality cut and possible damage to the machine. Please lubricate every 5 to 10 cuts. The channel shear must be placed on the tool table over the slug chute. This position is closest to the pivot point, giving you proper slug ejection and tonnage for the job. Anchor the tool using the clamps provided with the machine. The proper slider block must be used as it compensates for the scissors action on the power beam. It is very important that the tool is placed so that the slider block fits squarely under the power beam at all times. To ensure that your channel shear is properly adjusted, please note: the upper blades must come in contact with the inside of both legs of the channel at the same time. To adjust the channel shear, loosen the bolts holding the stationary vertical blades and adjust the blades using the 4 backup screws. Always replace the guards after making these adjustments. Use the crank handle to snug the vertical blades against the channel iron leg before shearing. Under no circumstances should any part of your body be placed between the power beam and the tool or close to the shear blades on any of this tooling. Remember, lubricate the blades every 5 to 10 cuts. Always remove this tool when it is not in use. The rod shear is installed on the tool table and must be placed squarely under the power arm and anchored with the clamps provided. The downstroke of the machine must be set to prevent damage to this tool. Set the downstroke so the tool will just part the material. This tool requires approximately a 1/2 inch of stroke to make a cut. When using the rod shear for trimming or making cuts less than 3 inches in length, check the rear of the tool to be sure the piece dropped off before making the next cut. In the square cavity, set the hold down bolt to prevent the kick-up of material. Lubricate every 5 to 10 cuts, and always remove this tool when it is not in use. The 6x6 90-degree notcher can be mounted on the tool table or in the punch station. Before installing the tool, insert the return springs and neoprene slug pad in the tool. On the tool table, the notcher must be mounted as close to the frame as possible and anchored with the bolts provided. The location of the pusher assembly is critical on this tool. The pusher must be located 15 inches from the center of the pivot pin to the center of the pusher on the 6509-24M. The distance is 17 inches on the 9012-24M and 22 inches on the 12012-24M. Adjustment of the machine's stroke is also very important on this tool. The upstroke should be set so there is pressure maintained on the return springs in the tool. The downstroke must be set so the top blade passes the lower blades by no more than 1/8 of an inch. Failure to set the stroke will result in damage to the tool and possible injury to the operator. The slugs created by this tool must be removed with a magnetic probe or similar device. When installing the 90-degree notcher in the punch area, place the selector switch in the punch position and allow the ram to fully retract. Turn the machine's power off. This cover must be removed to gain access for the mounting plate. Secure the tool to the punch bolster with the bolt and plate provided. The bolt is used with a plate and secured through the slug release and into the bottom of the tool. Please note the 9012-24M requires this punch pusher and retaining nut. The 12012-24M requires the punch pusher, retaining nut, and riser plate. Insert the pressure block between the tool and the punch ram. Again, the downstroke must be set to allow only 1/8 inch blade overlap and the upstroke to allow constant pressure on the pressure block. The slugs created by this tool must be removed with a magnetic probe or similar device. Lubricate every 5 to 10 cuts and always remove this tool when it is not in use. The rectangle notcher can be used in the punch station only on these models. Place the selector switch in the punch position and allow the ram to fully retract. Turn the machine's power off. Place the tool on the bolster and align the striker plate on the tool to the punch ram. Please note on the 12012-24M model, you will have to install this pusher on the ram before installing the tool. Anchor the tool with the bolts provided. The downstroke of the machine must be set to prevent damage to this tool. One cycle of the machine without the downstroke being properly set will seriously damage this tool. The downstroke must be set so the wider part of the upper blade just passes the lower blade. Please lubricate every 5 to 10 cuts. Always remove this tool when it is not in use. The pipe notcher can be used on the tool table or in the punch station on these models. Please note when changing dies that the upper and lower dies are equipped with alignment pins that prevent mismatching the dies. Make sure you have a matched set before installing them in the tool. When installing dies in this tool, place the upper die in the tool without the return springs. Install the lower die and make sure there is equal clearance between the upper and lower dies. Install the return springs and slide the top die back into the tool. When using this tool on the tool table, be sure that it is placed over the slug chute and that it is anchored with a clamp provided with the machine. The extension rod and spacer supplied with the tool must be bolted on top of the tool and placed squarely under the power arm. Set the upstroke so that the power arm just touches the rod. Then set the downstroke so the upper die passes the lower die by no more than 1/8 of an inch. When using the pipe notcher in the punch station, clamp the tool securely over the slug release in the bolster with the clamps provided and directly under the punch ram. A punch blank must be used on the ram to provide adequate stroke to operate the tool. Set the upstroke so the ram is snug on top of the tool and the downstroke so the upper die passes the lower die by no more than 1/8 of an inch. Please lubricate every 5 to 10 cuts. Always remove this tool when it is not in use. All sizes of brakes must be used on the tool table. Place the brake squarely under the power beam with the guard facing the operator's side of the machine. Place the brake against the frame closest to the pivot point for maximum tonnage. Anchor the tool with the clamps provided with the machine. Set the downstroke of the machine so there is pressure on the rocker cap at all times. Do not place any part of your body between the power beam and the brake or near the dies. When using the brake, it is very important that they are center-loaded. Never side-load a brake, as it will put undue stress on the guideposts and cause damage to the tool and an unsatisfactory bend. For special shaped applications, please contact the factory. Always remove this tool when it is not in use. The Picket tool must be operated in the punch station. Center the tool under the punch ram and secure the tool to the bolster with the clamps provided with the machine. The capacity of this tool is 1/2 to 1 inch 16 gauge tubing. Separate dies are required for each size of tube. Before shearing any tube, set this height tab. It should be set at 5/16 of an inch for 1/2 inch tubing, 3/8 of an inch for 5/8, and 9/16 of an inch for 1 inch tubing. Set the tube guide on the front of the tool to the desired size and adjust the stop on the back of the tool. This additional retaining nut and space are required when mounting the tool on the 12012-24M. Please lubricate every 5 to 10 cuts. Always remove this tool when it is not in use. The tube shear mounts on the tool table and must be anchored with the clamps provided. Align the tool over the slug chute and squarely under the power arm. The maximum capacity of this tool is 2 inch 16 gauge tubing. The upstroke should be set so the tube you want to shear will feed freely through the unit. The downstroke must be set so the top blade passes the bottom blade by no more than 1/8 of an inch. Failure to set the downstroke may result in damage to the tool and injury to the operator. If your machine is equipped with this option, there are a couple of very important things to remember. This switch allows you to select the electric back gauge option. When the machine is powered and this switch is in the probe position, anytime the probe is depressed, the machine makes a complete cycle. Make sure you have everything set up before you power the machine. Also make sure that all the stations of the machine are clear and ready for operation. In summary, it is virtually impossible to cover all the applications when you combine machinery and man, especially when you have the ability to use the power source of this machine for tooling other than Scotchman-built tooling. Good common sense and respect for the tonnage these machines develop is very important. With proper lubrication and maintenance, your Scotchman Ironworker should produce many safe, trouble-free hours of operation. If you have any questions regarding the operation of this machine, don't take any risks. Call your local dealer or Scotchman Industries, and we will be happy to assist you. This video belongs to your company or person that purchased the machine. Please use it as a ready reference periodically for continued safe operation or as a training video for new employees. Please consider this video as additional visual instruction and not a replacement for the manual. Please read the operator's manual. If this video or manual becomes inoperable or misplaced, please call the factory at 1-800-843-8844 toll-free, and we will send you a replacement at no charge. Thank you for taking the time to view this video.